Okay, so let's find trigonometric values using our trig identities to help us do that. Okay. Given that sine of theta equals 4 over 5, and we're then also in what quadrant does it tell us? Well, we're less than pi, and we're greater than pi halves, which means we should be in the second quadrant, okay? And that's going to help us in just a minute. Okay, so I might say, oh, I can use sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta, my Pythagorean identity here, to maybe solve for cosine. Well, if sine is 4/5, let's plug it in. Okay, 4/5 squared is 16/25. Subtract 16/25. So cosine squared theta equals 1 minus 16/25. Well, 1 is the same, remember, as 25/25. So 25/25 minus 16/25 leaves me with 9/25. And then I'm going to root both sides. So cosine of theta equals plus or minus 3/5. Now this is where this information here is going to come in. Well, if theta here is in this quadrant, the second quadrant, well, that's negative x and positive y. Right? Say I'm on the circle here. Okay, so in other words, I'm going to get rid of then the positive component because I know cosine, which corresponds to x, is negative, so cosine of theta must be negative 3/5. Okay. Okay, so what do? We used our Pythagorean identity to solve for, say, cosine here in this case. Did we have to use identities here? No, there are other ways we could have gone about solving for, say, what cosine was by constructing the angle in the appropriate quadrant and then going about figuring out your missing sides from there. But don't forget, this is key information to tell you, is x positive or negative, or is y positive or negative? Okay, so once we have cosine and sine, let's finish using our identities to solve it. And remember, we're just practicing using our identity to solve some of these. Are there other ways to solve them? Yes. Remember, you could always construct the angle in the particular quadrant that it is and label the sides and can find the other ones from there as well. Okay, so once I have sine and cosine, let's use another one. Well, tangent of theta is sine theta over cosine of theta. Well, if sine is 4/5 and cosine we said is negative 3/5, well, then I can invert and multiply. Negative 5/3. Well, that'd be negative, the 5's would cancel, negative 4/3. Okay. And we could then do cotangent, which is cosine over sine. Cosine is negative 3/5 over 4/5. Invert and multiply, same process. 5's cancel, negative 3/4. And then cosecant is just 1 over sine, which is 1 over 4/5. Flip and multiply, 5/4. And secant, 1 over cosine, which is 1 over negative 3/5. Invert and multiply equals negative 5/3. So I'm able to find all of my others using just what I had here, and then I use my identities to get there. Keeping in mind that when I get another value, I have to think about what quadrant I'm in. In this case, that if I'm, say, less than pi but greater than pi halves, I must be in that second quadrant. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the second quadrant, cosine is negative, sine is positive. Okay, and thinking about where you are on that is going to help you give it the correct sign. Okay, so this should help you begin the section on the problems there for finding trigonometric values. Okay, thank you.